We are continuing and concluding yesterday's class, which is a sicha, a speech of the Rebbe, which he gave in 1968. I guess maybe it was 968, maybe it was only 967 then. And this is located in Likutei Sichot, the 15th book of the collected speeches of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Likutei Sichot. And the Rebbe talked about Rashi's explaining Rashi's explanation on why Yitzchak's eyes became weak and that he couldn't see. And Rashi, unlike Rashi, seemingly, he brought three explanations why Yaakov's eyes became weak, even though it says clearly in the Torah that his eyes became weak because he was old. So Rashi, first of all, explains why it's not so clear in the Torah. So Yaakov was getting old. He wasn't really that old at the time. He died when he was 180 years old, and there were people, that's already old, but when his eyes started to get weak, he was much younger then. And not only that, it seems that he remained blind for 57 years. Right? When he became blind, he was 100, whatever it is, 30, 20 something years old. When he became, and he remained blind for a long time, so it's not so understandable why he had to remain blind so long in order to get give the blessings to. So there was a lot of questions that are involved, and in order to answer all these questions, which we explained what they were yesterday, he had to bring three answers because none of the answers all of the questions that are involved, and each one of the answers brings up certain questions on its own, and also leaves certain questions unanswered. So finally, and also the Rebbe explains that the answers that he gives, three answers, why Yaakov's eyes became dimmed, they're in the order of their importance and their relevance. The strongest answer is the first answer, that the wives of Esav burned incense and that affected his eyes. And then you have a question on that. I mean, how much smoke could there have been? And they probably were far away. And his eyes had to be blind so long. That was the first question. So therefore he brings the second answer. The second explanation. The reason was because that when when Abraham took Yitzchak to sacrifice him on the altar, the angels cried in heaven, and one of the tears went into his eyes. Which that has a big advantage because it was a good thing. They both did good things. Not like in the first one that Esav did something bad and he reacted to it. Here, this was a good thing. That he was serving God, he was sacrificing him. Huh?
When he was sacrificing
Yitzchak.
When Avram
was sacrificing Yitzchak.
Yitzchak was
37 years old.
7 years old.
Right. Which means he remained blind for a really long
He
time.
couldn't have been blind because in today's Chumash,
Right.
it talks about Avimelech.
With the wells.
Huh?
With the wells.
Yeah, no. He told Avimelech that Rivka was his sister.
Right.
Because he knew that she was a very beautiful lady.
Right. Could have been he became blind very slowly, or it could have been somebody else told him. Okay, but that has a big problem to it. The second answer is a problem because it's midrash. It's not a simple meaning. It's a midrash. So therefore he brings the third meaning, which is that he did it in order that Yaakov should get the blessings and that he wouldn't be able to see. And that's where this big problem comes in about how he had to be blind so long in order to give him the blessings. Okay, and he had to remain blind after he gave him the blessings. So all three answers, but still nevertheless, all three answers come together, answer all of the possible questions you might have on why Yitzchak became blind, even though he was not that old, and even though that he remained blind for a long time, and etc. Good?
Yeah.
Hahora himanot milashon hora. What can we learn from all this? Good, it's a wonderful thing, but the Torah is a book of teaching. The Torah is not just a history book. It's also a history book, but it's not just a history book. The Torah is also a book that teaches us how to live our lives, gives us proper values, gives us proper motivation, and gives us a feeling of, how do you say, responsibility. What we're responsible for. What is our goal? So what can we possibly learn from this weird story? I mean, that Yitzchak became blind in order that he could bless the son that he didn't want to bless. He didn't want to bless Yaakov, in order that he could bless him, and that he became blind because of the incense or because the tears from an angel fell. What's going on? Echad me'aharot anilmadot miperush hashlishi shel Rashi is ad kama yesh lahakpid al amiras lashon hora. How important it is not to say harmful things about others. L'chaor, at first glance, kedei sheYaakov yikabel et brachot, in order that Yaakov should receive these blessings, hayatah lekodesh baruch hu derech peshuta biyoter. He could have simply made a very simple thing. He didn't have to make Yitzchak blind. Legalot liYitzchak she'esav hu rasha. God could have just told Yitzchak that Esav is evil, your son Esav is evil, don't give him blessings, he'll just misuse them. And then he will give the blessings to Yaakov. Pretty simple way.
Similar to the way that Hashem told Abraham, take Yitzchak, your only son who you love. He told him.
Yeah, well, it's like Sarah told Abraham, get rid of Ishmael. So God could have sent someone. He could have sent Rivka. Rivka could have told Esau, Yaakov. Could have told Yitzchak, Rivka, his wife, you're making a big mistake. Don't bless Esau. Oros Nashe Esau. Regarding the wives of Esau, Yitzchak already knew that they were evil. They were worshiping idols. But he thought that maybe Esau, he just couldn't control his wives. Very common, what do you say, a common thing, what is it called, a tofa'ah, an occurrence anyway, in mankind, that men cannot control their wives, exactly the opposite. The wives do control them, as we see what happened with Chava and Adam, right? God told Adam, don't eat from the tree. His wife said, do eat from the tree. Listen to his wife. He thought that Esau is not guilty. He thought that he just didn't have any power to control his wives. And that's all there was in those days. Everybody was an idolater. You couldn't find anybody. Very difficult. And also Esau, also himself, Kavar Yada Yitzchak. Yitzchak already knew Mashu Enu Kashur. Something is not right about him. Ein derech Esav lios shem shamayim shagur b'piv. It says that Esav never mentioned the name of God. Right? This is his own son. Once in a while say God will help. Thank God. Say something nice. God be with you. Nah, never said it. Im kach, if so, b'zman shebein kach ubein kach, haya liYitzchak ezeshu chashad kalapi Esav. In any case, Yitzchak had a certain, how do you say, a suspicion about Esav. As Hoya Kodesh Baruch Hu Yochol Legalos Lo, God could have told him everything. Esav is a Russia. Below Yitzchak Lizdakek Likan Etz Yitzchak. He didn't have to make Esav, Yitzchak's eyes blind. He just told him, don't give him a blessing. From here we see how important it is how important it is not to say Lashon Hora. Yitzchak, 57 years, he was kalut b'bayit, kamed. He was imprisoned in his house like a dead person because he couldn't see anything. Kol zot kadei limana, only in order that God should not say Lashon Hora on a Jew. Because Esav was a Jew, his mother was Jewish. Va'afilu al Yisrael mumar, even on a Yisrael mumar. Very, very difficult lesson what the Rebbe is saying over here. Very difficult lesson. Sort of almost hard to believe that the Rebbe would say a thing like this. I mean, you have a person that's a bad person. Tell everybody about how bad he is, you know. If it's so regarding Esav, who really is bad, how much more a Jew after the giving of the Torah? After a Jew said, God said to every Jew, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. She'etzol kol Yehudi, that by every Jew, Nase Anochi Hashem, Elokecha, Kochecha, Kocho v'chayuso. Every Jew, even the worst Jews, God became his power and his energy. So you shouldn't say bad things about particular Jews. Huh?
Well, who's going to disagree with that?
Well, no. What do you mean disagree with that? It's a very, very difficult lesson. Here you have a person that's a cheater, a liar, Esav. Listen, according to the laws of Lashon Hora, as far as I remember, I mean, I did learn the book once. There was a book by the Chafetz Chaim called Chafetz Chaim. As if it's in order to really prevent a damage to someone else, you can say negative things about someone. You know, should I loan money to Joe? Don't loan money to him. He's a thief. Right? He's a thief. Maybe to throw the words in, he's a thief, is not good. But if it will encourage people not to give money in the future, and you know that he is a liar, as you can do it. And here the Rebbe is saying, but God did not do it. He did not tell Yitzchak how bad Esav was. Maybe we can say the reason is because God had another solution. There was another solution. If you see that there is no other solution, if there was no other way to prevent evil Esav from receiving these blessings, then it could be that not only is it permissible, it could be a big mitzvah to say, you know, to prevent him from getting bad things, from getting power, because he's an evil person. But if there was another way around it, even though it was more difficult, nevertheless, very strange answer the Rebbe is giving, especially when you consider that Yitzchak, he had to suffer for no reason. You have any idea what it means to be blind, right? To be blind is a terrible, terrible curse. Why should Yitzchak have to suffer for so long just so that God would not would withhold from him or would keep him from hearing negative speech? Very strange. But that's what he says. Nevertheless, listen, it's a thing we have to think about. It's a thing we have to think about, but nevertheless, it has to be in that direction. In other words, okay, let's say you can't stop yourself from totally, you know somebody is really evil and somebody's really bad, from saying something bad about him. But nevertheless, you should know that saying something bad about him is not right. It's not a right thing to do. Huh? And maybe you can find some sort of an explanation and an excuse and what do you want to call it? An exception, right? Why I can do it this time. Maybe you can. Could be. But you have to at least try to do that and find this exception and this excuse and then try to think about it if you're really fooling yourself or not. Not easy. I think the basic comes out of it is that what is this thing? There's two things about Lashon Hora. why Lashon Hora is so bad. One of the reasons it's so bad is because you're cutting a person off from changing in the future. You're saying that what he was, Lashon Hara is when you say true things about people.
Yeah.
You're saying true things. It's not saying.
It's Lashon Hara. Even if you tell somebody, go to that store, they've got good prices. That's also Lashon Hara.
No. Why?
It's in the book.
No. Why?
I don't know.
No. If you say
anything you say about anybody.
no. Let's not go overboard. Let's not go overboard.
What you're thinking of is, if you
Go to somebody's house. They have a lot of food.
if somebody's in a store and they're gonna buy X, and you say, don't buy it here, go to somebody else's store.
Yeah.
Because they got it cheaper.
That would definitely be Lashon Hara.
That's a problem.
That's definitely a problem.
It could be. I have to. Okay, I got to read the laws over again. I don't remember that. But on the other hand, it says, go to this person's house. He's got a lot of good food over there. To make him. He's going to get a lot of guests. Something like that. People will. Anything that can be damaging. That's the general principle of Lashon Hara. To say things that might damage someone, even if those things are true. Right? Even those things are true. But to damage someone for no reason. But on the other hand, if it is to save someone else money or to save somebody else from damage, as you're allowed to do it, but you can't overdo it. You can't overdo it. Not easy. This is very difficult. There's papers, like for instance, in Israel, it could be in America also, I think that there are, these religious newspapers, right? Religious newspapers. And always they got something bad to say about somebody. And it's true, maybe, right? If it is true, right?
The Jewish press.
Yeah, he's Jewish, yeah. That's the joke that they say that they ask some rabbi if it's permissible to take the Jewish press into the toilet to read. And he said, the question is, can you take it out of the toilet? I don't know. There's always something, it's really good and really good. Like here in Kfar Chabad, they just finished paving the streets, right? Paving the streets, right? But there's one little square right in front of the synagogue here, a square. It's about as big as, a car and a half wide, car and a half lot. And, and all of a sudden there, it's not, they didn't pave it for some reason or another. And at the end, there's this little ridge that's about that high. So you go into it and pow, you hit it, and it hits your tires. You think you're going to get a flat tire. I just now spoke to the workers. They just happened to be there. I spoke to the architect. I just happened to meet him, and I told him, go and see what it is. Nevertheless, here you're driving straight, and everything is wonderful, and all of a sudden, pow, bang, bang, this thing. It's the same type of a thing. You say one little thing bad about somebody,
Well, if Hashem had said to Yitzchak, I want Yaakov to be the one to get the blessing, would that be Lashon Hara?
I don't know. According to Chassidut, interestingly, the Rebbe brings this, but according to a mimer in Torah Or, Yitzchak knew that Esav was evil. Yeah. He knew he was evil, and he was trying to correct him. And he thought the only way of correcting him is to give him a blessing. And that blessing would immediately, automatically just show him the light, and it would change him, because the whole reason that Yaakov is in the world is in order to transform Esav. It's not that he just has to avoid him. It's not just the enemy and you have to destroy the enemy at all costs, or at least make peace with him or something like that. No. Our job is not to make peace with the enemy and not to destroy the enemy, but transform the enemy.
Is it a fair assumption?
How can you, one second. So how can you possibly, what does it mean to transform the enemy? So Yitzchak thought he could do it by giving him blessings. He thought he would give him blessings, and that would transform him. And the Alter Rebbe said that if you would have given a blessing, one of two things would have happened. Either Esav would have used it for bad, or Esav wouldn't have been able to control it, and he would have died. And neither one of the things are what we want. We don't want Esav to be destroyed. We want him to be transformed. Okay, what did you have to say?
Is it a fair assumption to say that Hashem wanted Yaakov to have the blessing?
Of course.
Then how could...
It's not a fair assumption. That's what he wanted. But he had to fight for it.
But then how could Yitzchak have been so wrong? Especially since Yitzchak, we think of in terms of being, stern and disciplined. His left hand. How could he have gotten it so wrong?
He didn't get it so wrong. He didn't have in mind long-term solutions. Yitzchak was a thing of gevura. He saw something wrong. He wanted to fix it immediately. Has to be fixed. They say there's some explanations that say that's what happened with Adam. Why Adam ate from the tree. If Adam would have waited for 3 hours, he would have been able to eat from it. But he thought, I can't bear a long-term solution. I can't bear to be in a world where there's evil. And that God will take care of it. Here's the same type of a thing. Not saying Lashon Hora. What does it mean, not saying Lashon Hora? It means that he had to have patience for 57 years. Right? They made him blind. 57 years of blindness in order to... that Esav should not receive the blessings. He should not receive the blessings, but he shouldn't say Lashon Hora. If he would have said Lashon Hora, would have fixed the thing up immediately. Would have fixed it up immediately. No, he had to make him blind, and they would fix it up. And now it's even longer. Now it's even a longer solution. Yitzchak wanted to fix up Esav immediately. Yaakov saw it was impossible, that it had to take a long time. Yitzchak thought it was worth a chance. It was worth a chance. It's almost like saying, somebody is dying, and we can save him if we, we give him a liver transplant, from somebody who's about to die. And you say, no. If this person lives, then 5 generations from now, it's not going to be a good thing. What's going to be in the future? Who knows? He said, by Esav not receiving the blessings now, and Yitzchak, yes, being blind, is because of that, as Yaakov got the blessing, and the fixing up will come a long time afterwards. This is almost 4,000 years of working with Esav, and how many pogroms there were, and how many holocausts there were, and how many terrible things there were. And Yitzchak wanted to fix the whole thing up immediately. Yitzchak said, it's worthwhile to save the Jews from so much, thousands of years of suffering, that Esav shouldn't get the blessing. I'll give it a try. And God said, it can't be, I can't do it. Okay, so tell him immediately, tell him. So no, it had to work this way.
Is there an opinion by anybody as to how would have turned out if Esau did get the blessing?
That's what I said. In Torah, or it says that if he would have gotten the blessing, either he would have become much worse than he was, or he would have died immediately. He wouldn't have been able to take it. It was too much. It would have been too confusing to his personality. His personality wouldn't have been able to handle it.
And how could Yitzchak have gotten it so wrong? I still don't get it.
He didn't get wrong. Up to that time, there had been no solution. Yitzchak was the aspect of Gevura. Up to now, he had fixed everything up quickly in his life.
Everyone says that, at least Torah says that had he gone ahead with his plan,
it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. He didn't know that. He didn't know. Only Rivka and Yitzchak knew it. Yaakov knew it. Made a mistake. He had good intentions, but he made a mistake. Okay, what would we like to do now? I left my watch at home. What time is it? All right, in order to explain, we're doing the 4th chapter of this Inyani of Torah Chasidus. Now we explain what the Chassidut, Chabad is coming basically to save the whole entire world, to give a direction and meaning and blessing to the whole entire world, to show the godliness that is in the Torah and the godliness that is in everything. Bir Mahuto Shel Torah Chassidut. If you really, let's give it another example, an angle. How we can explain what is the uniqueness of Chassidut. As we said before, Abraham began Judaism. And Abraham was called the father of all mankind. His job was to teach all of mankind how much God loves them. God is creating them. God is giving them a soul. Every person is unique. No person is replaceable. Every person is responsible for himself and responsible to God and to the world. Every person. And that's what Abraham's job was what he was chosen for. As we see, it's not working in the world yet. Right? Abraham was like 4,000 years ago. But now, our generation, it will work. Because we know for sure the Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach is going to be the human being. He is going to be something like King David, something like Moses, something like Elijah the prophet, something like Adam, first man. But even higher than them, even more pure, in tune. So let's see. In order to explain what is Chassidut, we have to explain what is this whole idea of Mashiach, of the Messiah. Ki mischara shel mitzvahs neda mahuta, because from the reward of a commandment you can know what the commandment is. Mekevan asher al yado, because by means al yadei, by means of spreading out the teachings of Chassidut, by teaching out the teachings of Chassidut, Chabad, teaching others, even one little idea, Ati Mar, the Mashiach will come. Dam Malka Mashiach. Hari Mai Me'inyano Shel Mashiach. If we understand what is the Mashiach, we can understand what is Chabad Chassidut. These teachings of the Rebbes of Chabad. Now, each Rebbe of Chabad, maybe a lot of people that are listening don't understand what I'm talking about. Chabad is a movement, a Hasidic movement. The Hasidic movement was begun by a man called Yisrael Baal Shem about 300 years ago. And Chabad, Hasidut, began some 50 whatever years after that with the first Rebbe of Chabad called Rabbi Shneur Zalman. He wrote this book called the Tanya. And the Tanya codifies, puts in an orderly way, the ideas of Hasidut, which are designed to bring eventually everyone in the world to have some understanding of what God really is. That's why one of the main things that Abraham is known for is that he broke idols. He broke the idols of people. People worshipped idols. They worshipped powers. They worshipped people. They worshipped spirits. They worshipped levels. These were all symbolized by these different idols that they had. And the thing that's wrong with idolatry is that it makes a person egotistical. A person does it for himself. And it also makes God separate, far away from us. Or it's even more, it's based on the idea that God is far away from us, or that God doesn't care about us, that only these idols do and these powers do. Well, Abraham wanted to bring to the world the fact that God really does care about everyone, and He creates everyone, enlivens everyone, and that everyone must be close to God. But in order, how do you become close to things? By understanding what it is, right? If somebody gives you a diamond that's worth $20 million, and you don't know what a diamond is, so a person could die from hunger, from poverty. He's got a $20 million diamond, right? He'll throw it in the garbage because he doesn't know what it is. The same thing, godliness is everywhere. Every person has a soul that's precious, every human being. But you have to be taught what it is. You have to be taught what is the uniqueness of God and how close God is and how far God is. That God creates the spiritual, but God also creates each one of us. So that's the idea. When we spread out these ideas, that's what will facilitate the arrival of the Mashiach. The ideas are the ideas of Mashiach, and the Mashiach will be able to come and do his job. What is the job of the Mashiach? But be it Mashiach and the coming of the Mashiach, Yitchadshu kama v'kam minyanim nalim. There will be many new things that will happen in the world. First of all, Gu'ulas Yisrael v'Shechina mi'agalus. The Jewish people will be redeemed, released from exile. What does it mean from exile? Jews are all spread out over the world, and Jews are spread out all over the spiritual worlds. There's Jews that are in India. There's Jews that are scattered in all sorts of crazy places. There's Jews that they don't know there's Jews. There's Jews that they hate being Jews. The Jews that deny being Jews. There's Jews that think that the ultimate level of Judaism is to be whatever it is, an atheist, or to be a vegan, or to be a wickie. There's all these crazy, right? To worship powers and forces, to worship nature. There's conservative Jews and Orthodox Jews and what do you call it? Confused Jews and gastronomical Jews. They eat the Jewish style food, right? And then there's the Yom Kippur Jews, and there's all these different types of Jews, but they're all Jews. And you take an atheist Jew, a person, and you say, you're not a good Jew, right? You say, you with your big beard, you're telling you're a Jew, you're sitting on your high thing, I'm just as good a Jew as you are. And the fact is that they're right. They are. It's true that they are. And they're proud of the fact, because it's true. Deep inside, there's something really, really, really essential and important and what's called it indelible? Indelible is a good word. No, that you can't destroy it. Indestructible. And that is their Jewish soul. And they all feel it, no matter what on the outside there is. You know, I remember I saw an interview, I read something, that they asked Trotsky. He said, I'm an atheist, I'm a communist, but I guess you have to say that I'm a Jewish communist. So one thing is going to be the Gulas Yisrael. The Jews are going to come back to Israel, and they're going to leave the places where they are, and they're going to leave the spiritual, intellectual confusion where they are. And they're this little kernel of, indestructible kernel of Judaism that they will not release, that they are aware of down deep, this will become more and more and more dominant in them. That's called galut. Galut means when you don't realize who you are, you don't realize, you can't reveal your potential. The Jews will go out of galut. There's going to be something bigger than this the Mashiach is going to make. What's this? That's only small change. The Jews are going to come back to Israel. It's wonderful, but it's small stuff. What could be bigger than that? Greater than this is the Jews will be chachamim gedolim v'yadim devarim stumim. This is the Rambam says, stumim, that the Jews will be great wise men, and they will know secrets. V'yasigu das borim, and they will be able to grasp the mind of their Creator. What does God want from us? Maleh ha'oretz de'at Hashem, the world will be filled with the knowledge and the awareness of the Creator. That's pretty good. Above this, shinui chidush b'maaseh bereshis. There will actually be changes in the world. The dead will rise. It says trees will give, bread will go on trees. Have to do this. Look at this later. That, what it says in the Rambam, other places it says that there's no difference between the days of the Mashiach and the time of exile. It'll be mainly political, that the Jews will not be under any strange rule. What is it called? The Jews will have their own sovereignty. And this is only the beginning of the days of the Mashiach. That the Jews, there won't be what are called shibud malchios, that the goyim, that the non-Jews will not have any rulership over us. This is only the beginning of the time of the redemption, which basically this is now. Basically this is now. I mean, Jews everywhere in the world can learn Torah if they want to. Even in Iran and in places where Jews are. Used to be in Russia, they caught you with tefillin, they would kill you. Nazi Germany, they caught a Jew that looked like a Jew, they would kill him immediately. Now you can go almost anywhere, walk through the streets with a kippah on your head. Except in, there's certain places, France and other places where there's, but that's because it's simple and not officially. Officially, you can learn Torah any way you want to in the world. The Jews themselves put themselves into exile, but any place who want to be free, right? The United Nations condemns us all the time. We say, please don't, that will be nice, But if they don't have to. They could say, we're not under their control. We're under our imagination, but not under their control. There, what it says that the Jews won't be under foreign control, this is talking about the beginning of the days of the Messiah. And like I say, that's basically happening now. And especially what it says in the Raya Mahemna, which is one of the books of the Zohar, Shene'emar, it says that this is talking about only the Am Ha'oretz, the people who don't learn Torah. The people who don't learn Torah, they don't know what to expect. They don't want revelations of God. They just want to have a life where they can learn Torah. They can begin. They can do what they want to. They can act like a Jew if they want. So this is only, some people say that this what says there don't be any shibud malchus is only talking about people who they call Am Ha'oretz, the people that don't learn Torah, they don't know anything, and they don't want anything more. All they want is just to live a good life, a free life. Nevertheless, what's going to be the main thing of the Mashiach? The main thing of the Mashiach is revealing godliness, revealing the Creator, which is above the creation. Godliness, which is above nature. Then it will be revealed. Like it says, then God's name will be called as it is written. Because in the whole entire world will be a revelation of God. People will actually see that everything in the world is a big miracle. right? Everything in the world, trees, the sky, houses, the material, the physical, the animals are alive, life. Everything is just an amazing miracle. People will see godliness in everything. Past, present, and future will be one. Haya, hova, v'yiyah ke'echad. Time itself is only a creation. Now we live within time. In the future, we'll see that time is only a creation, and we will feel, now we only feel time. In the future, we'll feel the creator of time. We'll feel something that's above time. We'll feel the meaning behind time. We'll have a feeling, we'll be connected with reality, true reality, which is above time and space. Above time and space. Like the revelation that was in the Holy Temple. What happens when you're above time and space? You're living in a real world. You don't think about where you are. You think doing something meaningful. When a person is doing something meaningful, he forgets about time, he forgets about space. If it would only be that we didn't get hungry, we didn't get thirsty, or we didn't get tired. So if you're doing something meaningful, and it's always meaningful, you wouldn't know if an hour passed, or a day passed, or a year passed. Tochen inyanim elu. This will happen only in this physical world. I'm sorry, not only in this physical world. I'm sorry. This revelation of godliness and this elevation of the world. What does it mean, elevation? Suddenly everything becomes infinitely more meaningful and happy. This will happen not only in this world, but in all the worlds. Even the spiritual worlds. Why? Because all of these upper worlds that you read about in Kabbalah, and all these different spiritual levels with angels and blessings and spheros, all these amazing things, it all depends on this world, what we do here. Al derech kaviyut Rosh Chodesh, for instance, the establishment of when is the beginning of each month, when is the beginning of each holiday, that when you decide, when the rabbis in the Sanhedrin would decide this is a new month, they would come in and announce when the new month is, according to when they announced. For instance, if people saw the moon, and they came in and they said, we just saw the moon, it's new, and the rabbis didn't announce, for whatever reason, it was too late in the day, they didn't announce this is a new month, then it wasn't a new month. It wasn't a new month. A month would already automatically be the next day. A new month can only come with 1 or 2 days. So if they didn't announce on the first day, then automatically it would be on the second day. But they saw the moon on the first day. Doesn't make any difference. When the rabbis announce, that's when the month starts. That's where Rosh Hashanah, that's when the seasons begin. It's not that they made a mistake and they flubbed it. According to what they say, that's how nature acted. Shehu kafi ofen kaviyot lamata, that what happens in the upper worlds is according to what happens in this physical world. Since in the days of the Mashiach, everything will be changed. This world will be infinitely more important. Okay, Herschel? Hari, therefore, the changes will not only occur in this world, but also in the upper worlds. But, Acharei kol hanizkar, after everything we mentioned, that what? That in the future all the Jews will be gathered to the land of Israel, and all the Jews will be wise men knowing God, and there'll be big changes in nature. All of these are only aspects of what comes from the main point. Kol inyanim elu, af hagadol v'rav ilui v'hafla shebehem, these only branch out from the main point of what is Mashiach. And what is Mashiach? What is Mashiach? Hey, inyani ikari shel Mashiach, the main issue of Mashiach is Yechida. This level of Yechida of the soul. The soul has 5 levels: Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. These are 5 levels of awareness of God. Nefesh is usually just the awareness that I'm alive. Ruach is more emotional. Neshama is intellectual. Chaya deals more with pure willpower, being willing to give your life for God. And Yechida is total unity with God. Total unity with. Where is that found? Only in this world, Yechida. The level of Yechida is the highest level of the soul, and it reaches the highest level of the essence of God, and this will be brought about by Mashiach. Now you might ask a question, Oh, come on. I mean, Mashiach is just a person, a human being. How can he do this? So the answer is, that's the whole idea of the Torah. The whole idea of the Torah is that everything was created, the whole world was created 6 days. On the end of the 6th day was created this amazing, weird creation called man. And this man was created in the image of God. He has the ability, by using his free will, to bring about the purpose of the creation of the universe. And you might think to yourself, listen, this universe is a very temporary thing. It's not so. The universe is an eternal thing if it's used according to what God wants. If you use this world according to what God wants, then the world becomes above time. Like we say, Hoya Hove V'yeh Ke'echad. Then it becomes something that's above time. Right? The world as it appears to us is 6,000 years long. That's the world. Or the week is 6 days long, 7 days long. But the fact of the matter, it's not so. Every instant is infinite. And every instant that's used the way that God wants you to reveals this infiniteness. And that's the whole entire purpose of Mashiach. Mashiach will be a person, a human being, that will link the physical, finite world to the infinite creator. And he'll bring the infinity of the creator into the world, because that's the fact. The fact of the world, the fact is that God really is creating the world, and the world really has the potential for physically being infinite. What this means, who knows? So he says, let's just do this quickly. Oh, shalom. A new pupil. What happened to his sock? Okay. Like it says, David, King David, he merited to purify the lowest level of the soul called nefesh. Elijah the prophet, Eliyahu, he refined and revealed the true essence of this level called ruach. Moshe revealed the level called neshama. Adam, the first man, that was directly created by God, he purified and embodied this aspect of what's called chaya. But Mashiach, he will embody and purify and reveal in the whole world this level of Yechida, the essence of God in the physical world. This is what Adam wanted to do, was supposed to have done. King David, Elijah the prophet, Moses, all of these people were supposed to do, and they tried to do, but they didn't. The one who began this whole movement, though, was Abraham. And Mashiach will finish it off, as we'll talk about, God willing, more tomorrow. Good.